Today I'm going to make a packet for the PGA Championship using Google Earth. So we're going to look at Kiawah Island. So here we're just in Google Earth Pro. I'm going to start by typing Kiawah Island Golf Resort. There we go. I've already done the front 9, but all of a sudden I thought when I started to do the back 9 that this would make a great video since I need to make a few more of these. Kiawah Island Golf Resort. Now I know that it is out here on the edge of the island. The front 9 routes around this way, the back 9 routes over here. So what I'm doing, I've got a scroll wheel on my mouse. I'm just scrolling in. This is number 10. And now when I hold the control button down, it's funny because it goes to like the 3D view, and then you've got to hold the control button down, left click, and then this right here, I'm actually control left clicking, and you can start spinning it around. This is just stuff that's going to take a little bit of time for you to play with. But you can see I've got my little hand up here, and you can grab it, tilt it, a whole bunch of things. Now I'm going to scroll a little bit further, and this is number 10. This polygon tool right here, I click it. You've got to change measurements to yards. I'm sure there is some way you can make that happen automatically, but I do that every time. I start here, and I've done a million of these, so I can kind of guesstimate about where to start. So what I'm looking for here is 300 yards. Again, you need to know your own numbers, but 300 yards, and then I'll see it's just this little dark spot in the sand right here. I'll come over here to 300 yards, and I'll find that, and now I'll come back to left click again, 371 yards, which again, these golf courses are built so formulaic, it's pretty funny. Now I'm going to click, I left click here, and I can take this, and it automatically closes. And again, I've done this a million times, so I'm pretty good at being able to see the middle. But one little tip that you can do is you can take a piece of paper and you can hold the one edge right here, so the edge of the paper, and then come over here and just put a dot on the paper and then fold that little piece of paper in half, and obviously then that will give you the middle mark. So again, I'm pretty good at eyeballing it. I would definitely do that for a while because having it off center, it's not good. So you need to make sure you're centering this line fairly well. I show you in Chrome how to do it a little bit easier, but now I know that that is 70 yards wide at 300. I've got this snipping tool. It's just a PC. I'm sure Mac has something similar. I click new. I'm going to come up here and just outline that hole. Now I'm going to bring in my PowerPoint. I just Control V that into it. I've got my tools I use all the time right there, and I just mark 70 at 300. Hit save, move on to number 11. You can set these things, so I can click OK, and that'll leave that there. And if you hit this right here, it'll come up with, oh, no, don't want to do that. It will put that into a spot where you can add it back and remove it. I'm sure there's, well, let's just see. You can name it by rename Kiawah 10. It was simple. I see these things make everybody learn a little bit more. Alrighty. I should have also noted a pretty cool feature right here is this imagery date thing. This satellite photo is taken on 1/28/2021, and you can come up here to this button and you can scroll backwards in time. You can go back, 1989, comical. This will probably be in black and white. Yep. That's just hilarious to me, but it is pretty cool. So now we're going to come back to take this off. That'll bring us back to the most recent satellite version. So anyways, on to number 11. Number 11 is a 593 yard par 5. Again, we're gonna, I scroll in and out depending on the length of the hole. I'm gonna go back to my polygon tool, go to the back of the tee box, come out here to roughly 300. Oh, on the nose! I'm telling you, I've done this too often. That was pretty cool though, actually. I will say so myself. 370 yards. Again, it is a formula, people. Learn how to recognize the formula and you will stop being fooled. This is one that I would definitely say to look at. If this is a little bit thinner rough versus this over here, you could start to favor a side if one side is just guaranteed lost ball. But for this situation, I'm just going to leave it right here. Again, my players on the PGA Tour obviously know what they are doing. Let's see, we can just name it right here. Kiawah, gosh, I can't type today, 11. Bam. Let's see if it did that. Kiawah 11, that's pretty cool. Look at us just learning together. New, again, just always grabbing this. This is one that I would expect they might play the hole up. So I will actually go on this hole and I'll push this up to the top. I will add in 70 at 300 from tips. And the reason I'm going to do this one this way is because, oh man, now I got to get this thing out of the way. The reason I'm going to do that is because if I come up here to the front of the tee box and now we want to see it's like 270 to carry on this side. I'm going out here. It's 300 right where that little lip in the bunker comes out. Come across 365. Oops. So now they know from the tips. Oh boy. We'll see if I can fix what I... Sometimes once you start clicking on the other dots, it messes up which one they're going to move from next. So now, look at this. So now you know that from the front of the tee box, just left of the bunker right here, that's your center your shot pattern target, the center shot pattern target. Oh, that's weird. All right. So again, now I'm going to leave the tee box in there just so the guys, when they're out there, can say, oh, okay, I see exactly where he's taken this from. Bring it into 11. Now I cut and paste that into the same spot. And this one I will just say is 65 at 300 from front of tee box. Bam. Okay. Now we move on. I mean, this really is a pretty cool place. Back of the tee box here, going to come out, measurements 296. Oh, I was wrong by 4 yards again. Now I'm looking at this dark spot. I'm going to come across here to 300. Back to that dark spot, 74. This will be one that'll be close as to how much I try to leave it over here by the water. Again, I'm going with 70 yards just because I'm expecting it to be windy there instead of the normal 65. Again, you can take this thing all the way out by the green because you got to think of things, what will you be able to see from the tee box? And so they'll be able to see the right edge of the green, and then they can just know that the right, just about 5 yards right of that. Why is it doing this? It's weird. It has literally never done that before. I feel like, and I see another tee box over here actually though. Alright, you go to 12, cut and paste, bam. I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter so I can rotate it just a bit. Put this thing in here. 70 at 300. I'm going to come back to this one and I'm going to do both tee boxes. Assuming they might play this one. Looks like a pretty cool tee shot to actually get over there by the water a little bit more. So here we are just right there. So now here's a spot, you know, again, I get it that those bunkers aren't great, certainly aren't something you want to be in, but they're just in play. Going back to 3-wood is just going to bring a different one in play. Driver's bringing this one in play. Obviously, some guys might be able to carry it, but bunkers are just in play. It just is what it is, and so you just have to go with it. But the whole thing, everything about this, what we're trying to accomplish is standardizing how you see these tee shots. So now every single shot becomes just like the ones at your home course or on the driving range or anything at all. This is where you can start getting excited because we're through 13 holes. So we've done 3 already, but we know we've got a couple par 3s coming up. So you know you're getting close to being done. Moving on to 13, a 497-yard par 4. Again, we're just going to grab the polygon tool, go to the back of the tee box, get this thing a little bit out of my way. I'm just going to come see how far it is over those things. So 330. Now I'm going to come back and we can just see, quite obviously, the left side of that lip is the bunker. This looks like a pretty good hole, actually. It's kind of a nice way to, 357. That is a good hole. We're going to go to 62, or 65 rather. I definitely would say there's no reason to hit it past 300 on this hole, although the lip of this bunker is what is really important, because by dropping back, you're going to put more balls in the rough. I would bet these balls in the rough at 200 are potentially just as bad as those balls in the bunker, you know, an extra 30 yards closer. So this is actually a really good looking hole. I like that thing. I should read more fried egg stuff. I wonder if they notice and point out things like that, because that is a really smart design. So it's pretty narrow, 65 at 300. But there's plenty of room. They're not going to lose the ball left. There's going to be a bunch of humans over there. So they might want to be challenging it, but what I'm going to tell them is dropping back to 3-wood makes the fairway quite a bit narrower. I don't even know if that's a word. Quite a bit more narrow. I'll just work around it. Quite a bit more narrower. That's definitely not a word. So the real question is, how bad is the lip in the middle bunker? Oops. Save, go to 14. Click that out, 14. Now we are officially at the turn, coming back, so good stuff coming. Ocean on the right, par 3. What is the deal with that? Cool, and moving right along. 15. How far was that? What did it say? 466. Whew, this thing in some wind, it would not be fun. 285. So again, there's going to be people all over the place. They're not going to lose golf balls over there. They might over here. So this would be a little bit more tenuous. 73, 72. Just going to keep on bringing that in. Complete that out. Take this thing all the way up. Looks about right to me. There we go. $70 at 300. This is obviously a long hole. But again, this is just where it's interesting. Like a pretty straightaway hole like this, it's just gonna be, I mean, driver. It's just a question what? I mean, here we go. We've got the hole 607. 300 is right there past that little white dot right there. $72. I'm telling you, these things are formulas. Here we go. Center up. Looks good to me. Clip. Move just because I'm sick of that thing getting back in my way. Why is it doing that today? I feel like my computer is not very healthy right now. The video card keeps crashing. It's a good thing because I'm about to have to buy an expensive computer to run my simulator once I finish. 78,300. And again, so now when you're out there on the tee box, you can start looking for, you know, it's barely inside or barely outside of where that dog leg, not that that's a dog leg, where that bulge in the native area will be. Move on. 17. What a great, God, this is going to be a fun golf tournament to watch. What a cool, cool place. Oops, don't want to do that. Come to 17, 223. Great, great stuff. Now, I mean, obviously, I've done this a million times. I've done hundreds, if not 1,000 courses. I mean, I've done this a bunch. It is not quite as easy as I'm making it look, but it is important to do this process, get really good at it. 18's 505. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know which one of all these tee boxes is the right one. What I do then is I just come out here and I'll just find 584. So that's obviously not the tee box. This is the one I was assuming it would be, which looks about right because now see 510 yards. You can see how they measured the hole to get it to 505. Perfectly fine. So now I just close that because it always makes it wonky with where you're starting from. Now I just come to the back of the tee box again, obviously. Measurements 323. So right here on that little tip would be 300. Right there. Oh, that's weird. 70 yards. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. I started to go way up here, but I'm assuming there'll be grandstands all right here, so there's no reason to even try to find something way up there. They'll have to find something better, like straight up the middle of this tee box, something like that. And that's it. That is how you do the back nine at Kiawah Island in, I mean, that was pretty quick, honestly. I'm making this video. I've got it at 10 minutes. 20 minutes to do the back nine.